Nigerian Senate meets service chiefs over national security challenges. 3 senators take oath of office in the Nigerian Senate. President Tinubu confers national honors on second-place Super Eagles. On the foreign scene, Russia declares Estonian Prime Minister Kaja Kallas wanted. Hello again and welcome to the Trust TV News Update at this hour. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for joining us. And on the news in full, security chiefs and ministers on Tuesday briefed senators behind closed doors on the spate of insecurity in the country. The Red Chamber had last week postponed the meeting till Tuesday. Those in the meeting included Chief of Defense Staff Christopher Musa, Chief of Army Staff Tarid Lagbaja, Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Hassan Balla Abubakar, Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun, and the Director General of the Department of State Services Yusuf Magaji Bichi. Others are the National Security Advisor Malam Nuhu Ribadu, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy Olawale Edun, Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawale, Director General of the National Intelligence Agency Ahmed Rufai Abubakar, Minister of Interior Olubumi Tunji Ojo, Minister of Police Affairs Ibrahim Gaidam, and Minister of State for Police Affairs Iman Suleiman Ibrahim.
The Senate decided to take this option for us to have this interaction because of the various petitions that we have received from our constituents. And as part of our major oversight function, we decided to do this through Committee of the Whole. And so it's because of the need for us to hear directly from you. And then from there, we can also brief the people. If there is any need for any cause for alarm, if there is no cause for alarm, we'll also know. And if there is anything you want the National Assembly, the Senate to do, we'll do so working closely with our partners in the House of Representatives. So we welcome you.
Meanwhile, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, on Tuesday administered the oath of office on 3 new senators who recently won by-elections in their respective districts. They are Pam Mwado of the Action Party and also Anthony Pam Wadum of the Action Democratic Party, who represents Plateau North, Anthony Ani of the All Progressives Congress APC for Ebonyi South, and Mustafa Musa also of the All Progressives Congress representing Yobe East Senatorial District. They were subsequently led to their respective seats after the swearing-in during plenary. At the plenary session, the upper chamber also went into closed-door meetings with the service chiefs over the worsening security situation in the country. Aside from security issues, the lawmakers are also concerned about Nigeria's economy. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, was also in the Senate chamber to brief lawmakers.
Let me swear
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So help me God. Oath of a member of the National Assembly. I,
Anthony Ani,
do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that as a member of the Senate, I will perform my functions honestly to the best of my ability.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has fixed 14 February 2024 to conduct election in some polling units in Taraba State following irregularities that marred the earlier rerun election in the state. The by-election will hold in the Taraba State federal constituencies of Jalingo, Yoro, and Zing local governments, where over 4,000 polling unit results were cancelled, while over 12,000 votes were cancelled in some polling units in Barade, Majidadi, Turaki A and B, Kachala Sambe, and Magoi ward of Jalingo. According to the coalition officer, the commission will ensure that the rerun election is conducted free and fair.
ADC 42 885 APP 5 27289 votes received by party.
And on to security matters. Bandits have killed 2 policemen and 2 other residents and abducted about 40 persons in an attack on Kasuwa Daji town in Kaura Namoda local government area in Zamfara state. Residents said the bandits invaded the town early Tuesday and started shooting indiscriminately to scare residents. A resident of the town, Abubakar Kaura, said the bandits entered the town with sophisticated weapons, including anti-aircraft guns. He said the bandits attacked the home of the former state chairman of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Hamisu Kasuwa Daji, and abducted one of his wives and grandchildren. According to him, despite the house of the former NURTW chief situated close to a police station in the town, the bandits still attacked the house as well as the station, disarming the policemen on duty and killing 2 of the officers. Another resident of Kasuwa Daji, who pleaded anonymity for security reasons, said the bandits also killed 2 residents of the town during the attack and abducted about 40 persons. Although the spokesperson of the Zamfara State Police Command, Yazid Abubakar, confirmed the attack, he, however, did not indicate the number of persons abducted. More on security matters. The Ogun State Police Command have arrested a suspected kidnapper, Christopher Yaro, said to have allegedly participated in the abduction of 2 Reverend Fathers for ransom in Pangshin, Plateau State. The spokesperson for the command, Omolola Odutola, said the suspect was nabbed on Monday by police operatives in the Ago Iwoye area of the state. 2 Catholic priests, Father Kenneth Kanwa and Father Jude Mwachuku, were reportedly abducted from St. Vincent de Paul Fair Parish in the Diocese of Pangshin in Plateau State. The alleged abductors, who were later discovered to be members of the same parish, allegedly demanded 25 million naira ransom from family and other church members to secure the priest's freedom. Speaking on the arrest, Odutola explained that one of the suspects and also a member of the church, Yaro, claimed that he fled Pangshin over fear that members of the community might attack him after they discovered that he was involved in the abduction of the 2 priests. The federal government has placed a 2 million naira bounty on an Anambra-based lawyer, Adachuku Okafo, for allegedly burning a 10-year-old house help. The lawyer, currently at large, is accused of brutalizing the minor's legs and body with a hot iron and a kitchen knife. Briefing journalists in Abuja on Monday, the Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, described the lady's actions as unacceptable and unpardonable acts of child abuse. Kennedy Ohaneye expressed concerns about the health of the victim, who is undergoing medical treatment in a hospital at Akwa Ibom, at Oka, Anambra State, after the attack. The minister urged Nigerians to avail the government of any vital information that could lead to the arrest of the lawyer. According to her, the Minister of Women Affairs will work closely with the leadership of the Nigerian Bar Association to look into the matter thoroughly, investigate it, and take appropriate actions against the lawyer. A protest has rocked Damaturu, the Yobe state capital, by the Association of Tricycle Riders over what they called extortion of Yobe State Road Transport Agency. According to them, the agency is extorting payment of daily fees from their members, ordering fresh registration by every rider. The protest is already crippling economic activities as many are seen stranded without means of transport to places of work. They said the economy is unfavorable and the government is bringing more hardship on them. The state chairman of the Tricycle Riders Association, Umaru Barau, said the protest is illegal as they are not aware of it. And now to the northwestern part of the country. As part of his administration's effort to tackle the problem of insecurity, Governor Ubasani of Kaduna State has signed the State Security Trust Fund into law. The bill repeals the State Security Trust Fund Law number 22 of 2018. This was disclosed in a statement on Tuesday by the governor's chief press secretary, Muhammad Shehu. The objectives of the legislation are to provide money for the acquisition and deployment of security equipment, human and financial resources, as shall be necessary for the effective functioning of all federal, state and local government security agencies working in Kaduna State. Governor Sani explained that part of the security funds will be reserved for the training and retraining of security personnel. The law also established the State Security Trust Fund Board of Trustees, which will be capable of holding, purchasing and acquiring any property for the trust fund. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still to come. Nurses in Lagos, Abuja protest against new guidelines. We'll bring you insights and details of this story and more to come after the break.
Why did you develop this reputation as somebody who is difficult to work with?
I will tell the truth. No matter whose ox is worn, I will say exactly how it is.
This is where I actually sympathize with commissioners of nowadays, where a commissioner sometimes is just a picture. You find somebody, even a cleaner and the governor's wife, can interfere with their abilities.
Even the ministers, there are very many who respected me, simply because I never complained about them. I never went to ask for a favor. Never.
So none of that has happened?
Nothing.
But if it hasn't happened, do you have hope that now another government coming in?
There's no hope.
So you've given up
I've given
politics?
I've given up. It's gone, it's gone.
Retrenchment from work is the most hated thing by unions. It's a loss of job, means that is loss of life, in fact, for civil servants at that time.
Nigeria's economy, Nigeria's security, Nigeria's intelligence. This is what the materials we were handling. And I thought government would be very interested.
The reasons why you adopted federalism is not because of finesse, not because you like it. It's because of its functional utility.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying. But if you're just joining us, this is a Trust TV News Update. Let's take a look at a recap of some of our top stories again. You heard that Nigerian Senate meets service chiefs over national security challenges. 3 senators take oath of office in the Nigerian Senate. And now moving on to more stories. A federal high court in Kano State has barred the state government from further demolition of residential buildings at Salanta Quarters, which was earlier marked for demolition. Justice Simon Mobeda, while delivering judgment in a fundamental rights enforcement suit, held that the landed property in question was legitimately acquired and therefore cannot be demolished without the consent of the owners. The plaintiffs had approached the court in July 2023 seeking protection of their rights to the property they owned, but were marked for demolition by Kano State government. The court then granted a temporary order restraining the state government from further action pending final determination of the case. Counsel for the plaintiffs, Kabiru Isha Kofa, said the virtue of the court's judgment, Kano State Government or Kano State Urban Planning Development Authority, their agents or previous are perpetually forbidden from invading or demolishing or even forcefully acquiring or removing any of their property or taking over the property or rights therein against their wish. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf had ordered the demolition few days after assuming office, accusing the previous administration of land allocation to cronies and illegal sales of some lands belonging to public schools, graveyards and mosques without recourse to due process. And on to labor matters. Nurses and midwives in Nigeria have staged a peaceful protest against the new standards for certificate verification laid down by their regulatory body, the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. Aishat Momo takes it from here.
The nurses and midwives on Monday took over the streets of Lagos and Abuja to voice their discontentment in the new certificate regulation guidelines set up by their regulatory body, NMCN. The professionals, while showing their disapproval, mentioned that the new demands by the regulatory body are forms of oppression to nurses. They called on the federal government to reopen the verification portals without restrictions. They stated that the standards for nurses and midwives certificate verification have been revised in a memo released by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria on February 7, 2024. Saying that the qualified candidates need to have worked as permanent practitioners for at least 2 years after receiving their license to get their verification certificate.
What we are asking is this: remove the verification circular that you have just released, remove it. Employ nurses. Nurses are all over everywhere unemployed. Yes. There is no nurse shortage in Nigeria. Yes. There is no nurse shortage in Nigeria. Yes. There is no nurse shortage in Nigeria. Yes. And I challenge all Nigerians, let them advertise for nurses employment today.
Yes. I hereby plead on behalf of myself and the whole nurses. We want them to withdraw the verification guideline within 48 hours.
We are calling on the NMCA registrar, Nurse Umar Farouk Abubakar, yes, to reverse the new verification guideline. Yes. Instead, Nurse Farouk should work towards proper placement. Yes. For nurses in the federal health system and states in general. Yes.
The processes should be digitalized with immediate effect. Yes. It should be digitalized with immediate effect. Yes. And we are telling you today, if you dare us, we will shut down the healthcare system. Yes.
The nurses concluded that if after some weeks there is no positive response from their regulatory body, they would be forced to take their next action, which would include a nationwide strike.
Moving over now to business. There appears to be no end in sight to the lingering foreign exchange crisis as dollar crossed over 1,500 naira at the official market. The dollar closed at 1,534 naira 39 kobo at the official market on Monday, according to the FMDQ data. This is the first time the dollar would be exchanging at over 1,500 naira since the crisis, putting more pressure on businesses and importers. This is despite the several measures and interventions by the Central Bank of Nigeria aimed at stabilizing the market. However, local currency has defied all the interventions and continues to depreciate against the foreign currency. Already, the impact of this could be felt in several sectors, with Nigerians experiencing alarming inflation and increased food prices. Despite the dollar exchanging at 1,534 naira at the official market, it has stabilized at the unofficial parallel market, exchanging between 1,450 naira and 1,500 naira. Power distribution companies that are performing below stipulated standards in the Nigerian electricity supply industry are going to lose 50% of their operating expenditures, the federal government declared on Monday. It made the declaration through the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission at the first NESI stakeholders meeting of 2024 in Lagos, stressing that the individual performances of the DISCOs shall be examined on a case-by-case basis going forward. Officially, Nigeria has 11 power distribution companies that supply electricity to over 12 million registered power users across the country. The successor DISCOs were privatized in November 2013 alongside the power generation companies that produce the electricity supplied to the national grid. The Transmission Company of Nigeria transmits the power produced by the GENCOs to the DISCOs for onward distribution to users nationwide. But the sector has been plagued by a series of concerns, top among which is the issue of poor liquidity and complaints around the inability of DISCOs to make adequate financial remittances to the industry to guarantee power production. Away from Nigeria, Russia on Tuesday declared the Prime Minister of Estonian Kaja Kallas wanted on criminal charges in an unprecedented step against its Baltic neighbors. It was not immediately clear why Kallas, who has led Estonia since 2021, was listed as wanted. Relations between Moscow and EU member Estonia, which is home to a sizable Russian minority, have remained tense since the end of the Cold War. Russia has frequently chided Estonia for removing Soviet-era war monuments, which Tallinn sees as unwelcome symbols of its occupation under the USSR. The Russian Interior Ministry's database of wanted people showed Kallas as wanted under the criminal code, without naming the charges, accompanied by a picture of the leader. There was no immediate reaction from Estonia. Earlier in February, Moscow summoned diplomats from its 3 Baltic neighbors after accusing them of trying to sabotage next month's Russian presidential election. Still on the foreign scene, mobile internet access in Senegal was suspended on Tuesday for the second time this month, the Communications Ministry said, after authorities banned a march against the delay to February's presidential election. President Macky Sall's decision to push back the February 25 vote until December plunged Senegal into a crisis which has seen 3 dead amid clashes between protesters and security forces. Access to mobile data had already been temporarily restricted 8 days ago when Parliament backed Sall's decision to postpone the election. This decision was severely criticized by rights activists and Senegal's major international partners, including the United States and the European Union. Access was restored again on Wednesday. The move to cut mobile internet was a repeat of a move last June, where Senegal's government restricted access amid high tensions in the country. The measure has become a common response to curb mobilization and communication via social networks, strongly condemned by rights activists. Indian security forces fired tear gas Tuesday to stop thousands of farmers demanding minimum crop prices from marching on the capital, New Delhi, after talks with the government failed. Police have set up a fearsome blockade of metal spikes, cement and steel barricades on the highways from 3 surrounding states leading to the capital. Public gatherings of more than 5 people have been banned in the capital. Farmers in India have political heft due to their sheer numbers, and the threat of renewed protests comes ahead of national elections likely to begin in April. 2/3 of India's 1.4 billion people draw their livelihood from agriculture, accounting for nearly 1/5 of the country's GDP. In sports, President Bola Tinubu has awarded the Super Eagles team with the Member of the Order of the Niger National Honor for their impressive display at the just concluded AFCON 2023 tournament held in Ivory Coast. They were also given one flat each and a plot of land in the FCT. Nigeria became second, losing the trophy to the host, Ivory Coast. The Nigerian team was received at the State House on Tuesday, where they were conferred with the honor. All team members and officials were in attendance, including Alex Iwobi, who had faced cyber attacks over the loss to Ivory Coast. Still in sports, as Roma is reportedly eager to sign Super Eagles goalkeeper Maduka Okoye from fellow Italian Serie A club Udinese when the summer transfer window opens from business. Okoye joined Udinese on a permanent deal from Watford last summer. Despite taking him some months to get playing time, the Nigerian is now a regular starter in Italy. The 24-year-old has also done quite well in the colours of Udinese so far this season after keeping 3 clean sheets in 8 matches across all competitions for the club. His encouraging performances for the title Zebras have now led to interest from Roma, who wants him to replace the outgoing Rui Patricio, according to a report from RomaPress.net. Okoye, meanwhile, had another magnificent performance in goal for Udinese, which travelled away to the Allianz Stadium and defeated Juventus 1-0 in a Serie A game on Monday. The former #1 goalkeeper for the Super Eagles was in an inspired form as he made 6 saves and had 2 other clearances to help Udinese beat Juve away for the first time since 2015. With that, we've come to the end of the news update at this hour. But remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for your time. Join us again.